Welcome, welcome, welcome. You have gotten locked in the library with me. I'm locked. Welcome to West in Peace. This is our next installment for the book club, reading The Stranger Upstairs by Lisa and Matlin. For some reason, I had a dream about this book last night. Gonna get into another couple chapters, see what's going on with this murder house. We're on chapter 4 today. Welcome to Beacon, where everyone is settled and safe and smug as fuck about it. I drive through the moonlit streets, still surprised I can call it home. There are no traffic lights in Beacon. Population 1,831. It's a one-road town where children bike to the general store on a lazy Sunday afternoon, while mums hang lemon-scented washing on the line, and dads gather in good-natured groups at the town's only pub. Kids don't have curfews, though none are needed. There's no danger lurking in the darkness, and no trouble to get into that can't be sorted out with indulgent neighbors. Cinemas and shopping centers are half-hour drive away, and a trip into the big smoke is generally discouraged. Kids grow up sequestered from outside influences and kept so distracted they barely notice. There are plenty of good trees to climb, cricket teams to join, pools to splash about in, and nothing but room to run and run and run. There's a waiting list to buy into this town, the realtor told us. No wonder. The only people who can afford to live here are older couples, long retired, who spend their days gardening and chatting with their neighbors of 30 years while their children wait impatiently for them to die. Kids grow up slowly here, and some barely grow up at all. My colleague Becky inherited her three-story Grecian house when her mother passed 2 years ago. Now she works 3 days a week, rest, plays tennis the rest, and has heated conversations about how entitled this generation is. She has one kid, Josh, and when she dies, he'll inherit that stunning $2 million house and complete the Beacon cycle until the town is just one long bloodline. I grew up in a two-bedroom shithole in North Queensland that smelled of sweat and smoke. Summer was a miserable stretch of 40-degree Celsius days where sticking your arm out of the car window felt like you'd shoved it in the oven. Little kids would wait red-faced in their strollers in the supermarkets while their exhausted mums fanned them with rolled-up pieces of paper and counted the days until summer ended. Like the rest of the poor families on our street, we had no air conditioning, and not even a quick cold shower helped. 5 minutes later, you'd be dripping sweat down your nose, knees, and underarms, and flopping on hard, tiled floors until you woke up dizzy an hour later with a pounding headache. But the rich kids had it easy. They'd hide away in air-conditioned houses or splash in their sparkling pools before emerging fresh and clean and cool, and God, I hated them for it. When Becky bitches about how the kids have everything handed to them these days, I really want to punch her in the face. Aren't you lucky, Becky, you're out of town, you out-of-touch cow, that your grandparents bought your family home 100 years ago, back when brand-new car cost 3 weeks' pay and your three-story Grecian house with a football field for a backyard was paid off in 10 years? How lucky that you and the other Beacon grandchildren have no mortgage, no debt, and no fucking clue how the rest of the world works. Some of us fought hard to get here, Becky. Some of us fought dirty. I exhale slowly, pulling into our moonlight-soaked street. Life in Beacon was sheltered and safe for years. People attended the biweekly town meetings, chatted over the fence, and watched their spoiled children play cricket on the eucalyptus-scented streets. So the murder at Blackwood House must have come as one big goddamn shock. Something about that makes me smile, makes me glad I'm its new owner, even for a little while. Before we moved here, Joe and I lived in Mitchell, North Melbourne, for 2 years. What can I say about Mitchell except it smelled like petrol and despair? The streets were bleached of color and the whole town just seemed pissed off. Mitchell. I hated that town. Took me an hour to drive here to work every day. Sometimes I'd park in the main street of Beacon, breathe in the clean air, and just watch how the other half lived. I had always wanted to worm my way into an upper-class town like this. I jumped at the chance to buy Blackwood when I saw it on peakprobate.com. Blackwood Murder House for sale. I'd watched every episode of Murder House Flip. I knew I could document all the renovations and make a shitload. It felt like the perfect way to grow my brand. I'm Sarah Slade. I fix people. Now watch me fix this godforsaken murder house. Plus, it was the only chance I had to get into the Beacon market. Yes, it was an impulse buy, but a clever one. I was packing my bags before I even looked through the due diligence checklist. And now I'm here, infiltrating the peculiar blood bond of this town like a sickness. Becky visibly grimaced when I announced I'd bought it, and I bit back a gleeful smile. Oh, she stammered. Well, welcome to the neighborhood, I guess. But her eyes said, you're not one of us, and you never will be. I drive slowly down the dark street, breathing in the clean night air. Beacon has that aromatic, damp forest smell of the Australian bush. There's nothing like it. When you wind down the window and gulp it in, you're breathing in the bright chiming calls of the bellbirds, the chuckle of the kookaburras on the fiery branches of the bottlebrush. Trees. The smooth white trunks of the eucalyptic viminalis shedding their bark in long ribbons under the summer sun. I peer down the empty street as the white trunks of the ribbon gums glow in the moonlight. I haven't seen any neighborhood kids, dog walkers, or even a damn car pull out of a driveway since we moved in last week. Joe keeps saying we should introduce ourselves, but I think the neighbors stay away on purpose. The realtor suggested as much. He'd cleared his throat and said too casually, Blackwood House is a bit of a sore point in Beacon. We'd already signed the deed by then. It's a funny old neighborhood, not much new blood. He winced at the word and blurted out, You shouldn't have any real issues with the neighbors, but if you do... Joe stared in alarm at the realtor and gave me a pointed look. My husband lives in fear of two things, people finding out about our sordid history and not being liked. I was worried he'd back out now that we were clearly about to be the pariahs of the neighborhood. The realtor must have seen the look on Joe's face because he flashed a slimy smile and said, Well, if the neighbors have a problem, there's not much they can do about it now, is there? I drive past a 3-story Spanish Revival house where the Whitmans live. Clay red roof, ice pink tulips, bubbling angel fountains. This is the pretty house Janet Campbell fled to after the attempted murder at my house. Don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me. She'd collapsed at their terracotta door, and the horrified Whitmans rushed her to the hospital. 40 years later, the Whitmans are still there. I drive past, tree shadows falling over the car, leaving me in a ghostly darkness. Blackwood House is at the very end of the street. It must have taken Janet 2 or 3 minutes at least to flee down this road to the safety of the Whitmans. Longer, maybe, since she was barefoot, and her head was smashed in. Don't kill me. I come to the end of the road and take my foot off the accelerator. In front of me, lit up by the headlights, is Blackwood Forest. I was excited about the idea of living right next door to it. I'd spend Saturday mornings jogging there, I decided. Maybe even the occasional picnic with Joe if we were having a good day. But that was before I saw it for myself. Blackwood Forest is an impenetrable mess of swampy woodlands, charred black pine trees, and carnivorous plants. I parked there after work last week, locked the car, and climbed over the waist-high gate. Immediately, the blackwood trees swallowed the remaining light, and the air was so cold it left me shaking. Determinedly, I kept walking down that black path, trying not to notice how the hairs on my forearms stood up in a clear warning. Somewhere overhead, a cockatoo cried out, sounding like a wounded child. I felt like I was walking down the dark throat of some feral animal. I turned around, colliding hard with the mountain gray gum that I was certain wasn't there a moment ago. Its blackened branches clawed at my face while the birds screamed and screamed, and I had the strangest feeling the forest was trying to grab me and keep me from leaving. I ran then. Ran all the way back to my car, stumbling over fallen branches and rocks bigger than my fist. By the time I stumbled to my car, it was totally dark, though I'm sure I'd been in there only a few minutes. Now, every time I drive past, it gives me an uneasy feeling. I stare out the windshield at the forest, and the headlights catch a pair of yellow eyes high up in the trees. Possum, probably. Slowly, I press down the accelerator and pull the steering wheel to the right, where a rusty gate, swallowed by ivy, issues a weak warning. Keep out. Ours is a damn long driveway. When I'm hungover and late for work, it takes 20 seconds to drive the length of it. I drive slowly, high beams on, scanning for potholes. Rabbits scurry across the front yard, running from the light. Blackwood House is as still as a painting. I turn the engine off and stare at it through my grimy windshield. We've been here 4 days, and each day has been harder than the last. Joe and I are struggling to hang on to the excitement of owning our first house, now that the grim reality of the renovations has settled over us. Joe thinks the roof is rotting. We weren't anticipating a total repair, and our bank account sure as hell won't be happy about it. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. I eye the stark land with growing anxiety, gripping the steering wheel tight enough to strangle it. The Whitmans is worth $1.5 million, I remind myself. Once the renovations are complete, someone is going to buy this house. Plenty of murder houses have sold without a problem. We'll double our money, triple it even. We'll fix it all up, and I'll plant a new rose garden out front for a bit of color. Little bursts of coral red and pale peach. Anything to combat the starkness of this dead and grieving land. I step out into the dark morning, and God, it's cold. Quickly, I loop my bag over my shoulder, tuck my key under my elbow, and wrap my arms around my waist. I keep my eyes on the shadowy ground, careful not to fall into one of the echidna holes and break my neck. What a way to die. I unlock the front door and step into the dark. It's just as cold in here, and I'm not surprised. There's an icy dampness to this place that not even a roaring fire seemed to fix. I hesitate at the fireplace, wondering if I should light it. The fireplace is one of my favorite things about the house. It's an original Victorian, cast iron, horseshoe shaped, with an Art Nouveau pattern. I've gotten into the routine of lighting a fire when I get home from work, but I'm too cold to bother right now. I walk past shivering, breathing in the stale air. We can't get any of the damn windows open, and for such a huge house, there's a surprising lack of them. There's only one thing in the lounge room, one window in the lounge room, north-facing and smelling of rot. After years of weathering, the wood's warped so badly it'll have to be replaced. For now, we're stuck in a house that smells like it hasn't been aired since the murder. There's a staleness to it like old water. I shiver in my jacket, dump my keys on the coffee table, and stare blankly at the empty couch where my husband should be. Whatever, I'm going to Andy's. I almost forgotten his earlier text. My husband. My darling husband who hates me. Why is Joe just another problem I have to fix? I climb the stairs, clutching the cold banister in my right hand. It's so quiet that the sounds of my feet are deafening. Thud. Thud. I don't know where Reaper is, and I'm surprised how much that stings. I need my boy tonight. My room, the Campbell's old bedroom, is large enough to fit 4 king-size beds. The only thing I've had time to unpack is our bed, and the vast emptiness of the room just swallows it up. And it's dark, always dark, despite the paltry window. I'm too tired to shower, and the hot water systems still need replacing. I creep over to the bed and pull my phone out of my jacket pocket. 3:43. I sit heavily on my side of the bed. Joe's side has always been the left, closer to the door, and though we haven't shared it in months, it's hard to undo the habit. I tie my hair in a tight ponytail, climb under the covers, and pull them up to my chin. And of course I can't sleep. It hits me that this is the first time I've been alone in the house since we moved in last week. I don't know when Joe will drag his arse home, but I know he'll be hungover and unreachable when he does. I roll over, considering pulling the Kindle app on my phone. But no, I dismiss the idea straight away. Lately, reading just reminds me of work. It reminds me that the damn blogger shoving her iPhone under my chin. It reminds me of that damn blogger shoving her iPhone under my chin and prompting, "When's your next bestseller coming out?" I wished I could have shoved her phone down her throat, but I smiled instead because, of course I did. That's what Sarah Slade would do. I clenched my teeth in the darkness, staring at the floor. Creak. I bolt upright. Creak. You'd swear someone was walking up the stairs. I hold my breath and listen. It's just the house settling. For shit's sake. It seems louder tonight because Joe's not here, the bastard. I exhale slowly, ignoring my rattling pulse and the fact that it's just me, 2 barren acres, and a murder scene. You wanted this, I remind myself. I'm about to roll over when I realize I'm staring right at the bloodstain. It hits me that Susan Campbell was lying right here when her husband crept silently over. It happened in the early hours of the morning. Did he make any noise when he stalked over, clawhammer in hand? Did she hear the creak of footsteps as she lay sleeping? I don't know much about their marriage, only how it ended. And now I can't get it out of my head. I squint at the bloodstain like I'm looking for clues. I imagine Susan and Bill clasping hands, all shiny-eyed and full of that sweet belief reserved for newlyweds. I imagine Susan's head on Bill's shoulder as they slow dance in that Brady Bunch kitchen. I stare at the bloodstain, grimacing. How did it go from vowing to love, honor, and cherish to that? To fucking that? I roll over, turning my back on the bloodstain. An old image of Joe flashes through my mind. Him on our wedding day. He'd bought a $10 shirt from Kmart and tucked the severed head of a yellow tulip in the pocket. It looked ridiculous, but it made me laugh. I was happy to marry him. My boy. Mine. Tears sting my eyes and I brush them away. Behind me, the bloodstain laughs. 'Cause that's the thing about marriage, it taunts me. We all know the ending. Endings are loud, but we don't know about the middle. I open my eyes, and for the first time I wonder about the Campbells. Not the ending. I wanted to know their middle. I wanted to know when their marriage crossed that devastating line. When did Susan first have a clue that she no longer was safe with the man she married? Did she see it unraveling slowly, thread by fucking thread? Or did she know only when she held up her bloodied hands to defend herself? The middle of a marriage is quiet. The middle is dangerous. Joe and I are in the middle. Creak. Out of the corner of my eye, something moves. I stop breathing. At the threshold of my bedroom, something pads silently forward. Burning orange eyes glare at me in the darkness. My lips go numb with terror as the thing rushes forward, leaps onto my bed, and pins itself against my chest. Reaper! The damn cat hisses in my face like he's laughing at me. I swear in the darkness and reach for him. His tiny claws grip both sides of my neck like he's trying to strangle me. Lovely. Reaper, get off! I prise his paws away, but he holds me tighter. When he drops with a thud onto my chest, I realize something is wrong with him. His entire body is trembling, and he grips me tight enough to draw blood. A low, anxious howl begins at the back of his throat. It's that hideous shriek howl cats give right before they attack each other. It's creepy, unnerving, and I wish to hell he'd stop. With shaking hands, I reach for the lamp beside my bed and I flick it on. He howls again and tries to bolt off my bed. I lunge for him and grip him in the crook of my left arm. I can't see any signs of trauma. His eyes are clear and bright, and there's no blood. I force his mouth open and swipe inside with a fingertip to make sure he's not choking on something. Clear. I roll him over onto his back, and he hisses and spits while I examine his chest and stomach. Nothing there either. I run my fingers through his tangled fur. I don't know what I'm looking for. A tick, maybe? A snake bite, even. But I find nothing. I pull him gently upright again and hold him against my chest. It's okay, I say softly, patting him from ear to tail. It's okay. This time he doesn't struggle, but the little tremors ripple through his body. I stroke his back and scratch behind his ear where I know he likes it. After a little while, the trembling stops, and so does the howling. It's the stress of the move, I tell myself. There's nothing wrong with him. I wonder if I should take him to the vet tomorrow to make sure, but it's always an embarrassing disaster when I drag him in. He's a bit highly strung, isn't he? The last vet murmured, cradling her bloodied thumb where Reaper bit it. And Joe snorted. No, he's just an asshole. You're all right, Reap. I tuck him into the crook of my arm, and he rests his flat little face on my elbow. Finally, we drift off to sleep, the creaking house in my anxious mind like a horrible metronome in the darkness. Creak. Whatever, I'm going to Andy's. Thud. When's your next bestseller coming out? Groan. Had a few things to take care of. Bang. Don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me. Chapter 5. If we don't fix the bloody shower soon, I'm going to murder someone. The shower head's been leaking since we moved in. Drip, drip, drip. All day and all night. I swear I can hear it all the way down the hall from my bloody bedroom. Drip, drip. I stand on my tiptoes on my bed, my husband beside me, smelling pleasantly of sweat and beer. Together we hold the giant piece of cream and gold wallpaper with our fingertips, trying hard not to make any creases before we press it on. We inch closer. Directly in front of me are 4 blackbirds in the crook of a tree, watching. They look so sad, I grunt, struggling to keep my balance. Joe presses his corner down with the flat of his hand, and I watch the blackbirds disappear. For the next few minutes, Joe and I work together side by side, and for a moment, I allow myself to enjoy it. I always loved these little moments of being married. We smooth down the paper, and once it's stuck firm, there's a loud knock on the door downstairs. Joe and I exchange relieved looks. The plumber's here. I'll let him in, Joe says, jumping nimbly from the bed and disappearing out the door. I stare up at the wallpaper, shocked by how much of a difference it's already made to the room. The cream and gold gleams softly, just catching the last light of day. It's beautiful, but I wonder what the blackbirds think now that they're smothered underneath it all. I jump down from the bed and land right on Susan's bloodstain. Poor Susan. Poor little blackbirds. I feel uneasy, like I've made the wrong move, like I'm guilty of something, but I'm not sure what. I head to the bathroom and peer in. Cracked seal, the plumber says laconically, inspecting the leak. Won't take too long to fix. Joe shoves his hands in his pockets, anxiety staining his face. How much is that going to cost? The plumber scratches the back of his beefy neck. $350. Bastard. He quoted me $280 on the phone. Joe pales, and I lean against the bathroom door, seething. I clear my throat, and Joe shoots me a warning look. The truth is, I rang 4 plumbers to come fix the leak, but as soon as I gave them the address, they either hung up or were suddenly too busy to come. $350 is fine, says my husband. The plumber grunts in reply, and I press my lips together before asking brightly, would anyone like a coffee? I do. They don't, and neither do I, but I need an excuse to head downstairs and calm down a bit. Truthfully, I can't stop thinking about those blackbirds. I lean against the faded green kitchen counter, staring at the spaces where light switches used to be. The electrician worked on them yesterday, and now they're just holes in the walls, blue and red wires poking out like exposed intestines. It makes me queasy just looking at them. Slowly, I head back upstairs, gripping the banister because my legs feel oddly hollow. I'm resting at the top, breathing hard, when Joe steps out of the bathroom and gives me a questioning look. You all right? He actually sounds concerned. Yeah, I say, automatically straightening up. Want to finish the wallpaper? I head to the murder room, and when Joe follows, he places a soft hand on my shoulder. I want to reach for it like a woman drowning, but I don't. I'm in control, I tell myself. But why does everything feel so wrong? All of it. I just can't shake the feeling. I step into the bedroom and stare at the wall in shock. I freeze at the door, and behind me my husband calls out, What the heck? The lovely cream and gold wallpaper we just hung now lies face down on the bed like a dead person. Silently, I step forward and inspect the paper. A chill creeps down my scalp and settles down my neck like a scarf. I look up. The blackbirds watch me, silent and angry. I step back. Joe and I hover around the wallpaper uneasily. I stare down the hallway, thinking of the plumber, but Joe shakes his head. He was with me the whole time, Joe says. We didn't leave the bathroom. I press my hand to my abdomen and my eyes drip up to the blackbirds. Did you do this? Joe finally asks. Did you take it down? The anger in his voice throws me. Of course not, I say too harshly. Why would I? He doesn't answer, but his body radiates anger. Damn it. It was fun wallpapering with him this afternoon. It felt like the start of something brand new. And now he's angry at me again. And those bloody blackbirds glare at me from the wall. You tried to cover us up. Don't do that again. I feel like everything in this room is mad at me. I step back and someone screams. At first, I think it's the blackbirds. Or maybe it's the house. The house is mad at me for trying to change it. But then Joe rushes past me and I realize the screaming is coming from the bathroom. I stagger out the door, everything feeling unreal, just as the plumber comes bursting out the bathroom door. What's wrong? Joe calls out. What's wrong? I see it then. The plumber stops mid-scream and stands dazed at the top of the stairs, clutching the back of his head. Blood gushes down both temples, dripping under his chin. Drip, drip, drip. He wobbles on his feet, his face drained of color, and his eyes too wide, pupils too large. I knew I shouldn't have come to this house, he murmurs, his lips dry and white. This house. This bloody house. Joe catches him as he collapses, and I stand frozen, watching the blood run down the plumber's forearm and drip from his fingertips. Drip, 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 drip. Distantly, I hear Joe call my name, but all I can think is that the plumber tried to fix the dripping shower, but the house didn't want him to. Now the plumber's the one who drips. Excuse me. SarahSlays.com. Home. About Sarah Slade. Buy my book. Contact. Welcome to Blackwood House, May 10th. Hi there, folks, and welcome to my website. My husband and I finally moved into Blackwood House 2 weeks ago, so it's time for the very first update. I hope you're as excited to start this journey as we are. Let's start with the not-so-good bits. We had a bit of a hard time moving our furniture in due to the many holes in the yard. Thanks, echidnas. That's a plant, but I don't know how to say it. And unfortunately, the kitchen needs more work than what we anticipated. The kettle works, at least. We're looking at a major kitchen overhaul, so we've been a bit naughty and living off Chinese takeaway since. Gah, I hope my Pilates instructor isn't reading this. Joe's been dealing with the electrical and plumbing details. Yawn. So if you want updates about all that really boring stuff, you won't find them here. Who cares about gutters and roofing when there are gorgeous Tiffany chandeliers to obsess over? Speaking of gorgeous things, I had the greatest time with the folks down at Retro Renovations. If you're looking at repainting your home, check these guys out. This is not a paid promo. They helped me make my own custom color, a beautiful pure green I'm calling avocado. Goodness. Photos below. I can already see this all over the lounge room walls. And I may have ordered the new kitchen appliances in the same custom color. Yikes, I hope Joe isn't reading this, lol. We'll be working on the hot water system this week, so yay for that. There's way more work to be done, and it's been a little tougher than we anticipated. But the house has been shut up and neglected ever since, well, I'm sure you know. Check out the pics of avocado goodness and the matching custom kitchen appliances below. And here's a link to the stunning kitchenware. CreateYourOwnCustomKitchens.com. No discount code, I'm afraid, but maybe next time? At Create Your Own Custom Kitchen would love to work with you guys. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. P.S. Yes, I'm still working on my next book. It's going so well, and I cannot wait to share it. I gulp my coffee and hate myself. This is Media Relations Sarah. She uses too many exclamation marks, is enthusiastic about everything, and loves nothing more than whoring herself out for a discount code. I hover over the cursor I hover the cursor over the post button, cringing as I proofread the update. I've had 5 hours sleep in 2 days. My eyes are sticky and another headache worms its way into my skull. I hit the post button before I change my mind. Then I lean back in my Gatsby chair and wince as it goes live. There. Done. People can stop asking me for updates now. I swear, every time I sip coffee in the work kitchen, Tim, the sports psych, hits me on the arm with the newspaper. How's the renovation going? That's right, Emily pipes up. You bought the Blackwood place, didn't you? Oh, that's going to end our session for today, and we will be back with some more book club reading. We're on page 42. Locked Out.